from the Georgia WeatherNet Storm Center. Live severe weather coverage starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 6:09. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen here in the Georgia WeatherNet 24-hour Storm Center. We have an active tornado warning in extreme northwest Georgia, so let's get right to it and tell you about it. This is in Walker and Dade County. Tornado warning. This is part of a cluster of thunderstorms moving in from northern Alabama, and this has a history of producing a tornado around the Huntsville area, just northeast of Huntsville. So we're taking this storm very seriously. This does cover Trenton as well as Chickamauga, Rock Spring, Cooper Heights under this tornado warning, and this is going to go until 6. Let me make sure we have the time here right on this. This came out at 6:08, and tell you what, let's press this button here and we'll get the time. 6:45. All right, wasn't sure if it's 6:30 or 6:45. It is 6:30, or correction, 6:45 for this tornado warning, and this is crossing I-59. So again, this is extreme northwest Georgia. Just going to zoom out here just to give you the big picture. And we have a couple of other pop-up thunderstorms around the state, including a severe thunderstorm warning just above Macon. We'll talk about that in just a second. But it's northwest Georgia, this extreme corner that we're talking about, that we want to make sure that you are in your tornado safe place, or if you know anyone there in Dade or Walker County, that they are where they need to be, that lowest level, most interior room away from doors and windows. So again, crossing over Interstate 59, we'll take a look at the velocity. And we're not showing a strong couplet right now, but the rotation basically just to the south of Trenton. We can see the darker reds coming into the brighter shade of pink here. So right over I-59, really just on the south side of Trenton is where we're seeing the rotating portion of that storm. So in addition to the tornado threat, we do have the potential of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, obviously very heavy rain, and we may have some hail in that northern part of the storm, mainly north of Trenton, it looks like. But this is going to continue moving toward the east. Should be at Chickamauga at about 6:27. Ringgold at 6:44 if it holds together. That's way down the line. That's right there at the end of the tornado warning time. And if it continues on heading toward Dalton around 6:57, could be close to 7 o'clock. And this storm has been not letting up as it moved across northern Alabama, actually tracking. This is all part of a system that was in Oklahoma, moving into Arkansas very early this morning, and that continued moving in toward Mississippi. And again, this whole cluster of storms here just kind of gradually moving to the northern part of Alabama, right hugging the right along the Tennessee state line, and that's where we are now. You can see the northern part of that system in the Chattanooga area, and severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Chattanooga and Hamilton County, Tennessee. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that overlays our tornado warning. This was issued first as this cluster of cells moving in toward the state line. The National Weather Service said, well, let's play it safe. Let's go ahead and issue this severe thunderstorm warning that does cover Lafayette and Dalton, Ringgold, and all the way up to Cohutta. So a big portion of Catoosa County, Whitfield County is in there, and all of Walker County in our severe thunderstorm warning. But the main thing that we're focused on is our tornado warning until 6:45. So our severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:30, and then our cluster of storms here with some rotation just to the east of Trenton. Now it's moving fairly rapidly. Look at that latest sweep of our radar now. This is well across I-59 now, so just rain coming down in Trenton, so things are going to be quiet now. You are in the clear. But as we continue moving toward the Dade-Walker County line, that's where our main threat is right now. So it's sitting right, this darker line right here. This is the Dade counties on this side, Walker counties on this side. So it's just across the Walker County line now, moving over toward Highway 193, moving through central Walker County. We'll take a look at some of the other storms around the state while we wait on another sweep of our radar. And we'll just take a look at the big picture radar here just to show you what's going on all across the state of Georgia. Some decent thunderstorms south of Columbus around Cusseta, stretching over the state line into Alabama. A couple of cells starting to move into Ware County, north and southeast Georgia. And then one severe thunderstorm warning here. It looks like that cell is starting to dissipate a great deal. Let's take a look at the high-res radar, and we'll get a little better look at that one. But this has got a good portion of, looks like Jones County is in there, and that may have it looks like that's probably going to expire. So yeah, that is starting to weaken as it moves through Jasper County, northeast Jasper County, just on the other side of Shadydale. So what's left of that cell is starting to dissipate, and it looks like the National Weather Service is going to go ahead and let that one run out, as it is just running out of steam. But a very isolated storm there, brought some heavy rain just north of Monticello as this tracked up toward the northeast, up toward Shadydale in Jasper County. But again, we'll watch out for a couple of these little cells here, spotted over Washington County, heading in toward the northern portion of down toward Lawrence County. We see a couple of those cells, and into Emmanuel County, northern part of Emmanuel County, with a few cells. Not severe, but with them being out by themselves, we could see a few of those storms go a little bit stronger. So our tornado warned storm in northwest Georgia. So this is as far northwest as you can possibly get. And this is now moving out of Dade County. Looks like we're pretty much across the county line now, heading into western Walker County. We'll take another little look at our velocity. And this looks like it's starting to get a little bit elongated here. This is kind of what's left of our rotation. Still there. Hasn't tightened up. That's good news. As I mentioned, a little bit elongated. That's a sign that we do have some strong winds. It's really just pushing this cell very, very quickly, so it's hard for it to stay organized. But nonetheless, we want to keep you in your tornado-safe place right over Highway 193 and Chickamauga. South of Chickamauga, you need to be in that tornado-safe place until we get this cell out of there. And just above Cooper Heights, so Cooper Heights, this area, and that's just above where we're seeing those the possibility of that rotation. Just want to also take a look at our debris tracker just to make sure we're not missing anything. And I haven't seen any debris just watching some of our other radar tools, so it doesn't look like this touched down. In Georgia, it did touch down, it appears, in Alabama. I got the alert that there was a tornado warning there in the Huntsville area, just northeast of Huntsville. And checked that out, and I did see a debris signature on that one. So that looked like that was around, again, just to the east of Hazel Green, northeast of Huntsville. So we'll see what kind of reports we get out of that. So with this storm having a history producing a tornado, we just want to make sure that we keep a close eye on it. Out to the west, we do have more heavy rain that will be moving in from Alabama, crossing I-59 into southern Dade County, starting to move in toward northern Floyd County as well. We'll see if any of those go severe, but right now, nothing else severe in northeast Alabama. Pretty strong cell here just south of Albertville, Alabama. Kind of surprised that one isn't severe, but at the moment, just a significant thunderstorm. So just giving you an idea of what we have left here in North Georgia. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. That's for most of North Georgia. Cuts off right around the middle of the mountains, around Brasstown Bald. You get east of that, head over toward Rabun County, not in the watch. But northwest Georgia, the North Georgia mountains under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. So we still have the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms well into the evening hours tonight. All right, another sweep of radar. Got a pretty pronounced notch here. So again, we just don't want to mess around with this storm. Let's pull up a couple of roads and tell you what we're looking at. North Marble Top Road, heading toward Garrett's Chapel Road. Once that crosses Marble Top, heading toward Childress Hollow Road. And now you're starting to get into the western part of Chickamauga, heading over toward 12th Street, Pinehurst Circle. Need to be in that tornado-safe place until this cell moves through. Let's take a look at the velocity again. And this is it's kind of moderate velocity, or a moderate couplet, I guess you could call this. Not anything that's indicating a tornado on the ground or anything that's, a code red sort of situation here, but certainly something worth watching. And this lines up with that notch. So we're kind of looking right here. We see this notch, and we want to go over and take a look at the velocity. And here you go. See, this all lines up. Got your darker shades of red here, some greens kind of rotating into that. So once again, the rotation is still there, but sort of elongated. It looks like it's kind of stretching sort of north to south, and that will hopefully keep some of that storm structure at bay, and we can prevent a tornado from forming out of this cell. But Just don't like to see a notch like this, because this means that the storm is being well fed. Out ahead of this, very warm, very humid, unstable air, and that's being pulled into the cell. And as that pulls in, that process just helps it rotate. And that's why we have that tornado warning there on the board. Portion of the warning has expired or has been canceled for Dade County. So Dade County, again, you're all in the clear. We're just watching central Walker County right now. Chickamauga and south is going to be your main area of focus for this storm that has the capability of producing a tornado. Have several clusters here all together, prompting our severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. And so that's got still all of Dade counties in there, Walker County, Catoosa County, and a good portion of Whitfield County, including Dalton and Cohutta, is in the severe thunderstorm warning. And we'll check out across the rest of the state. And no other warnings there. That warning that we had down in Jasper County has been allowed to expire. Have some strong thunderstorms, as I mentioned, south of Columbus, moving up toward the northeast. We'll check out these cells here in southeast Georgia. Moving out of Clinch County into Ware County, some heavy rain right over Waycross right now. Some storms heading over toward the swamp, but not severe at the moment. Still have the chance for these cells that could go strong to severe. We really watch these cells a lot of times that come out of Florida, just around Leon County and over toward Monticello, Florida, moving up into Thomas County, and that's where we get a lot of really strong thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms. If you live in extreme South Georgia, you know that's a fact. Florida sends some doozies up that way, so we'll watch this cell here just northeast of Tallahassee, moving up toward Thomas County, over toward Brooks County. Could see some strong thunderstorms moving that way over the next 30 minutes or so. We'll go back to a high-res radar for just a second and take a look at our storms up in the north again. Still strong structure on this. That notch looks even stronger on this latest sweep. So if this holds together, let's take a look at the velocity. Broad rotation, but fairly strong. If this holds together, we may see our warning get extended toward the east. So Ringgold, Tunnel Hill, just stand by. That cell could be moving close in. But even if this is not dropping a tornado, with this strong notch here, this inflow notch coming in, we know there's some very strong winds associated with this. So the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts could be even greater. We had some of the severe thunderstorm warnings in northeast Alabama with the considerable tag on it, which means the 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts were associated with this cluster here that we're monitoring in northwest Georgia as it moved through Alabama. So very, very strong winds. Let's pop up a couple more roads here. Already mentioned North Marble Top Road. Got that couplet right on top of you, just to the north of Lisbon Road. There's Francis Lane getting into the town of Chickamauga. Garrett's Chapel Road. Just being that tornado safe place for right now. Lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows. And checking in to see if we have any storm reports coming in. Nothing yet, but still monitoring the potential of this cell here that could drop a tornado. And I'm going to check in with our weather partners in Huntsville, just see what they have going on over there. Yeah, lots of trees down coming in from Jackson County, Alabama, so just across the state line, with numerous trees down just throughout Jackson County. So clearly a big wind event, and we can expect to see some trees, power lines down, possible there in northwest Georgia, Dade, Walker County. And again, just looking down the line there, heading in toward Whitfield County, with those storms racing in fairly quickly. And this shows moving at 38 miles per hour. I think that at this point, this cell is actually moving a little bit quicker than 38. It started to pick up some speed as it moved into Georgia, because it just cruised through Dade County. And there's another sweep. Look how fast, how far that jumped there with that latest sweep here of radar. So it is moving fairly quickly. So some good news on that means less of a flood risk. Obviously, a lot of rain still out behind of our main cell, so we still could pick up some flooding fairly quickly. But the quicker these storms move, the less you're going to have rain, obviously, over the same area over a long period of time. However, that forward momentum also means stronger straight line winds. And it looks like that notch just pretty much faded away with this latest scan. What's left of the notch, basically southeast of Chickamauga at this point, heading over toward Highway 27. This is US 27. So our notch is starting to kind of flatten out a good bit. That's some good news. And we go back and take a look at the velocity, and still showing some signs of rotation there. Not extremely strong rotation, fairly broad rotation. So we'll take that. The severe thunderstorm warning has been extended, so that's another sign that the National Weather Service also looking at this and saying, yeah, that rotation is not as threatening as it was before. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that will go until 7 p.m., and this is going to be for Catoosa County, western Murray County, Whitfield County, central Walker County, and south central Dade County, not including Trenton. This is as a result of those multiple cells there, possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and penny-size hail. Seeing that hail threat mainly in the northern portions of the storm. So if you're in Dalton, in Lafayette, Chatsworth, Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, Chickamauga, obviously, Tunnel Hill, Cohutta, Crandall, Sumac, Gregory, Blue Spring, Fairview, Linwood, Beaverdale, and Rock Spring, you're in this severe thunderstorm warning. So kind of overlays a lot of our previous warning, but does push it out a little bit more toward the east, heading into to cover most of Murray County. That's basically the only change, and a little piece of Dade County is not in there because the main threat toward Trenton and west is pretty much off the board now. But we're just watching a cluster of these storms. That we had the tornado in there earlier over near Huntsville, Alabama. No sign that it's dropped a tornado here in Georgia, which is good news. But we did have that rotation. That's why the red polygon is on the screen. And that warning is supposed to go until 6:45. We'll see. This may end up outrunning the polygon before then. But we do have our severe thunderstorm warning basically reissued over the same area up to Ringgold, Tunnel Hill to Dalton, and then pushed out toward Chatsworth until 7 p.m. Across the rest of the state, no other warnings, believe it or not. Just some decent thunderstorms. The Columbus area, out toward Chattahoochee County. We have thunderstorms moving into Ware County from Clinch County. We have a few spotty thunderstorms around middle Georgia here, just up around Jefferson County, in southern Putnam County, Greene County, over Lake Oconee. It looks like a couple of little cells there. Nothing severe, but just those pop-up thunderstorms. Atmosphere is ripe for that. As we take a look at temperatures across the state, just give you an idea how warm it still is out there. I guess we had a few little locations of some rain-cooled air with those cells that moved over Albany and Douglas at 79, but without the rain, 91 degrees in Vidalia, 93 in Brunswick. Heat index today in Brunswick was 107, so very, very hot and very dangerously high humidity levels in coastal Georgia today. And just taking a look at, see if we can get the heat index up there. Yeah, still showing right now, it's hard to read that, but it says 103, but it was a little bit higher just a few hours ago. And then taking a look at our dew point, just give you an idea how much moisture is in the atmosphere. This is plenty with those 70s in there to get those thunderstorms going. Extremely high dew point, 79 degree dew point. I believe that's Americus. 79 over at Dublin. So, I mean, once you get the dew point in the 70s, it's just almost hard to breathe. You start approaching 80, and it's just unbearable. All right, let's get back to our cluster of thunderstorms, which has given us a cluster of severe thunderstorm warnings. They're just all kind of on top of each other here. And our tornado warning, the red polygon, remains in effect as well. Let's just take a look and see what we have going on. Still a little bit of a notch trying to hold on for dear life. This isn't very pronounced, but this is still showing up maybe a little bit better than our last scan. Flip over here and take a look at the velocity. And yeah, this isn't as bad as it was. We have our darker shade of red here, that magenta color, so we know we have some broad, fairly moderate rotation. There's another sweep going on. Yeah, this isn't anything that's going to allow a tornado warning to be extended. If this tightens up again, which it could, you know, the next scan could be a little more ominous. We'll see. But as for right now, this is going to be a severe thunderstorm, warned storm. And a portion of our tornado warning has expired out to the west, so the threat of the tornado is now gone in Chickamauga. So you can just enjoy the rain now. Charles checking in. Yeah, more severe weather. I know that emoji. How's it looking up at Big Canoe, Charles? Everything all right up there? I guess the rain probably going to be coming down, with those little spotty showers here and there. That's basically what you're looking at until this main line comes through. A little update on our severe thunderstorm warning. So Dade County is now out of it. Most of Walker County, that western portion of Walker County, now even clear of the severe thunderstorm warning. So that's been updated. That's good. Rain still coming down over all of Dade County, except for just a tiny little portion there, just south of I-24. So just kind of looking ahead and see what we have up in Tennessee. Yeah, look at this. So obviously we're the Georgia Weather Net. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but the destructive tag on this severe thunderstorm warning. So that has from Chattanooga and then east, that one covering Red Bank and Soddy Daisy, over in toward Bradley County, and then another severe thunderstorm warning covering the rest of Bradley County, Tennessee, and then that's Polk County. And this one has the considerable tag on it, so we have those very, very strong winds. Just taking a look at the details on that. So yeah, this one, possibility of 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So the worst of this cluster of storms that we were monitoring coming in from Alabama is staying just above the state line. Now, we don't wish that upon anybody, but it is staying out of the state of Georgia. This southern portion of the line, obviously we have that little rotation going on that had the potential of a tornado. We got to watch that. But the most powerful, I mean, just look at the way this storm is curling inward around Harrison, Tennessee. There's Fairmount, just to the east of Red Bank. Look how this is just curling in. So very, very strong. And I don't think I've seen a destructive tag on a severe thunderstorm warning in quite some time. So that one is a major, major deal for sure. Here in Georgia, just a standard garden variety severe thunderstorm warning. Still want to take it seriously. Still have the chance of those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So Tunnel Hill, Dalton, Cohutta, you are in the severe thunderstorm warning, as well as Chatsworth. So that has pushed on toward they pushed that out to the east and toward Murray County. Most of Whitfield County, with the extreme southern portion of Whitfield under the severe thunderstorm warning. And then that tornado warning just continues to whittle away piece by piece. And not really much structure anymore. Look at this. This is kind of just flattened out a great deal. Probably not going to see much in terms of velocity anymore. This is where it's this is what's left of it. Got these deep reds here and get very, very elongated. That's one of the reasons I think why this storm is just really not holding together to be a major tornado threat. Is just getting stretched out because of the winds associated with it. So we'll just hold it right here. In theory, this warning's supposed to go until 6:45, but I think it's going to be running out of the polygon here in the next 10 minutes or so. So I will stay right here and keep an eye on it. Cheryl Collins been watching the Chattanooga area. You better keep an eye on Chattanooga. That's a big storm. I tell you what. Looking to see what kind of damage reports coming out up there. There are going to be a lot of them with those 70, 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And more trees down, more reports coming out of Jackson County, Alabama. Alabama Highway 71, Pisgah, Alabama area with trees down. And back here in Georgia, the only storm report that we've had today here in Georgia has been out of Jones County. around Wayside, and that was some trees down in the Wayside area of Jones County. But we haven't had any other reports here in Georgia yet, but I think we'll possibly get some of those reports coming in for northwest Georgia here with these storms moving through. The tornado warning is gone, so as the leading edge of this cell is approaching the end of the polygon, they just said, yep, it's over. And again, really not much to be concerned with. Got a little nodule here. Let's take a look at that. Just want to take a look at, something else. We'll watch that. So approaching Highway 151. Again, nothing significant here, but the one thing I looked at, I just kind of noticed on that last sweep, and this one kind of showing it as well. You got a little bit of a little inflow coming out here. So we want to watch that, and then we just sort of look at the velocity, and that is indicating some fairly broad, moderate rotation on that. So that is going to be in southern, where is that? So that's going to be in Catoosa County. Let me just take a look at another line here. Yeah, almost in Catoosa County, basically still in Walker County. Here's the southern Catoosa County area. So one of my other radar products showing just inside eastern Walker County. So again, we don't have a tornado warning issue with that, but that's going to be one of those parts of the line that the National Weather Service is going to be looking at, and just keeping an eye on that as it continues tracking toward the east, toward southern Catoosa County and Whitfield County. But all this is under the severe thunderstorm warning, so that kind of covers all that anyway. But we're just watching that little notch right there that could cause some trouble, could get mischievous. And the National Weather Service, they're watching it very closely. Over in Gilmer County, got a decent cell that's popped up here. Let's put this in motion. Watch how that, that kind of came out of nowhere. It looked like it was trying to cycle up, then it disappeared, then it popped back up again as it moved into northwest Gilmer County, heading toward Fannin County. So this is going to be moving very close to Blue Ridge. Not severe, but some heavy rain falling on that one. Alan Tibbetts, the great Tibby, up in Copper Hill, McKaysville. We've talked about Copper Hill, McKaysville here on the channel quite a few times, and the IGA that sits right there on the state line. They have the line. You can, there it is. There's McKaysville, Copper Hill on the other side. So everything pretty quiet right now, but I think this little cell that's trying to move into western Fannin County may be heading right for you. So get ready for some rain coming up in maybe about 20 minutes or less. Just taking a look into northeast Alabama. Nothing severe, but pretty good storm structure with a cell that's beginning to move toward I-59, just to the south of Fort Payne, just above Gadsden. And that one, very nice structure on that. This one may be starting to split, but these are the kind of cells we really want to look out for. They're on their own. They have plenty of room to breathe and develop into something. So that is moving toward Collinsville, Alabama, right over I-59. And if that holds together, we could potentially see that moving toward Chattooga County, northern Floyd County here in Georgia. But really, really good storm structure on that one. All right, let's just take a look across the state. We have no active tornado warnings right now, but we do have numerous cells just popping up just with the heat of the day. This cell in Washington County, right over Deep Step, northern Washington County, up around the northern area, just above Sandersville. We're seeing some very heavy rain coming down. And these could really get a lot of height building up as well. And that's where you can get that hail threat. And let me see if we have anything indicating hail. Yep, it's possible. So this cell right over Deep Step in northwest Washington County, we could be seeing some hail. So surprisingly, that hasn't been classified severe yet. Maybe just below the threshold, but we'll watch that. And decent storm structure here. Notice how this is kind of all coming together, kind of got a little mini squall line coming together, moving into southwest Georgia. This is going to be moving in toward Terrell County and heading in toward northern Calhoun County, possibly moving toward Albany. I'm sure it will hold together. but that's where we can get some strong straight line winds when you start to see the line all come together and kind of bowing out. We'll check out southeast Georgia. Our main severe threat is going to be North Georgia for the rest of the day today, and that's why we have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect. But I just want to kind of take a look at the rest of these cells. Yeah, those cells down here moving into northern Ware County, still showing the some heavy rain. We're actually central Ware County. All right. Let's get back to our severe thunderstorm warn storm in northwest Georgia. And this just looks like a big wind maker now. Again, just like those cells that we saw in southwest Georgia. Notice how it's all linked together. There's a new tornado warning coming out, so we got another little spin coming up. But here's all those storms linked together. So strong straight line winds, and now a new tornado warning. This is going to cover the city of Dalton and the city of Chatsworth, southeastern Catoosa County, northwestern Gilmer County, central Murray County, and central Whitfield County. Tornado warning until 7:30. This storm capable of producing a tornado around Wood Station, about 8 miles west of Dalton, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So locations in this warning include Dalton, Chatsworth, Varnell, Eaton, Tunnel Hill, Crandall, Tales Creek, Sumac, Ramhurst, Wood Station, it's where the storm is now, Rocky Face, Mill Creek, Dawnville, Fort Mountain State Park. You're in the tornado warn polygon. Seek shelter right now, lowest level, most interior room away from doors and windows. And again, not showing any signs of debris. Take a look at this side as well. Yeah, still not showing that, but the straight line winds is going to be a huge factor. And that is, yeah, that's that little area that we were looking at as it was moving. We were talking about trying to get a close location on it. It's moving out of Walker County into Catoosa County. And you can see that inflow just got a little bit deeper. And that's why we have that rotation coming around here. So that's our main concern for the potential of a tornado. Pop a couple of roads up here for you. So this is going to be right over the intersection of Holston Valley Road and Old Ringgold Road, moving toward Mount Vernon Road. And as this holds together, likely will be heading over toward the Amber Cliff area, Battle Line Drive, just northwest of Dalton, and should be moving very, very close to Dalton. From downtown Dalton north will be your main concern. And along the bypass there, the Highway 76, 41 bypass, the road here that takes you basically around the city, north side of the city, and dumps you out on I-75. I was just on that road, last Sunday, I think it was. So it's heading right that direction. But you need to be in that tornado-safe place anywhere in the city of Dalton. If you know anyone in Dalton, get them to their tornado-safe place. This is our part of the storm that has that capability of producing a tornado. Let's take another look at velocity. Yeah, still there. It's fairly broad, not the strongest rotation in the world, but it is there, and we're still showing the potential of that. And keep in mind, the next scan of radar could show that tighten up significantly. So that's why the Weather Service kind of looking ahead, just to make sure that if you have that potential for the tornado, go ahead and put that warning out there. It's smart to do that. So southern Catoosa County, central Whitfield County, including Dalton, be in that tornado-safe place. If you're north of Phelps in Whitfield County, be in that tornado-safe place. Phelps is clear. In Murray County, Eaton, Chatsworth, and Ramhurst, be in that lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows. Got a little ways to go before it gets all the way over to Murray County, but nonetheless, it is moving that direction. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on it. As I mentioned, the northern cluster of these storms up in Tennessee and moving in toward North Carolina with the destructive tag, severe thunderstorm warning, and considerable. So very, very strong winds there, 70, 80 mile an hour wind gust with that cell. And my goodness, just looking just north of Cohutta, you can see how strong this is with this very sharp edge. You go from no reflectivity all the way up to red and flashing purple in no time at all. So that's a sign that that's wind, and the reason that's bulging out like it is that's wind pushing that through. And so that's why those strong winds are moving through there. So, yeah, again, looking over ahead just a little bit, heading out toward Fannin County. Yeah, if this holds together, likely that will be moving over toward McKaysville and Copper Hill. Going to be a little while before it gets over there. Kind of time things out a little bit. If all continues moving as it is, looks like the Eaton community around 6:56. Dalton over just really in the next few minutes. And Chatsworth, 6:58. Ellijay, Gilmer County, just be on standby. We do only have a small little portion of Gilmer County here under the tornado warning. But Ellijay and East Ellijay, you're not in it yet, but just hang on. Got your own cell to deal with over there right now. But tornado warning, you can see this kind of spread out to the east pretty far, pretty elongated warning. That's a sign that this storm is moving fairly quickly. Again, 38 miles per hour doesn't seem all that fast, but for a thunderstorm, that's pretty good. Some of these cells can creep along, 15, 20 miles per hour, dump a whole lot of rain, give you that flood risk. Some cells can move 50 or 60 miles per hour. This one's kind of there in the middle, so moving between 35 and 40 miles per hour toward the east, and still just showing that very pronounced inflow notch coming in. And this is a big concern. The way it looks right now, not a great concern, but it could tighten up any given moment. So that's why we got to continue to keep a very close eye on that. Again, let's call out the intersections here. Old Ringgold Road, Houston Valley Road, over toward Trickham Road. This is where the rotating portion of the cell is. Whitfield County is where we're talking about, northwest Georgia. There's Dobson Drive. Moving over toward Highway 201. And then we'll be crossing 41 around where 76, 41 come together, around Crow Valley Road coming into US 41. So from downtown Dalton north up to the north side bypass, this is going to be our main area of concern. Now, all of Dalton need to be in that tornado safe place, but our main concern, this cell just moving just slightly to the north of Dalton, heading right here toward the bypass. And as I mentioned, Chatsworth and Eatonton, you are in the warning as well. Time now is 6:46. Our tornado warning is set to go until 7:30. A lot of real estate to cover here. Still have most of Whitfield County to cross, and then over toward Murray County, and a little portion of northwest Gilmer County in the tornado warning as well. All right, here's a new sweep, and that just kind of took that notch out a great deal. Still there. Let's take a look at the velocity. Yeah, not as threatening as it was. So again, it can go either way. You get that kind of moderate rotation, fairly broad rotation, and you just don't know. Either the next scan is going to look more ominous or it's going to look less threatening, and then it can kind of just go back and forth. And basically, that's what this cell has been doing. I've been watching this as it moved through the Huntsville area, Madison County, Alabama. We had a confirmed tornado on radar out in that direction. Then it kind of lightened up a little bit. We had some severe thunderstorm warnings associated with it. Crossed over Georgia. I thought it was just going to stay severe. And then we had a tornado warning that was issued because we got a little spin on it. Cycled back down, and now here we are with the potential of that still could create that tornado. Still looking at that notch. This is what we're watching. If we could smooth this out, we'll be in a little better shape. But for right now, Dalton, just hang in there. We'll give you the all clear as soon as possible. Southern Catoosa County, you're clear, no problems. Out to the west, out toward Walker County, just rain's going to be coming down. Still, most of Walker County is still under the severe thunderstorm warning, but for the most part, not a whole lot going on. Southern Walker County, we've got some cells here, but just outside of the warning polygon. But our main cluster that we're looking at, going through Tunnel Hill, west of Dalton, this is where our rotating portion of the storm was. And then the big cell here, part of the line, just moved through Cohutta just a few minutes ago. So very, very heavy rain. Now back to light rain. Ringgold, just some light rain going on right now, but you're clear of the tornado threat. And really, Ringgold and up I-75 all the way to Chattanooga. You're still in the severe thunderstorm warning, but it's all clear. We're just going to see just some moderate rain with this particular batch here. Just going to check out the big picture radar. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Go down into west central Georgia. Switch over to this radar. There we go. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for Macon County, east central Marion County, southwestern Peach County, south central Crawford County, central Schley County, and southern Taylor County until 7:30. And the Jeffersonville radar may be not producing any information, so let's go check this one out. So here it is, just to the east of Buena Vista, heading into northern Schley County. Looks like it's going to miss Ellaville, just to the north of Ellaville. And then tracking toward the northeast, got a hail marker just to the southwest of Rupert in Taylor County, but not really showing any rotation to be concerned with on that. Let's just take a look one more time here at the velocity. Yeah, this is just going to be a big wind maker, heavy rain, and some hail just to the southwest, as I mentioned, of Rupert is about here. There's Ellaville, northern Schley County. So we have some hail starting to move in to southern Taylor County. There's a new sweep coming in. So possibility of some hail in this area. So this is going to kind of split between Butler, going to be close to Montezuma, but not quite, and just kind of move through some very rural area there in parts of Macon County, heading over toward Peach County. If this holds together, Marshallville, Fort Valley, you'll be seeing the storm knocking on your door here very soon, around 7:28 looks like for Fort Valley, and Marshallville at about 7:21. So that is a severe thunderstorm warned storm, pretty strong thunderstorm in southwest Georgia. Taking a look at this cell here in northern Calhoun County, right on the Randolph-Calhoun County line, just north of Edison. Not severe, but we'll keep an eye on it. Back to our tornado warned storm. And let's take a look at Atlanta radar this time. All right, that's not going to work out. Let's try, go back to high top. This is part of northwest Georgia where it can be very tricky to get a good radar shot of the storms in northwest Georgia. We've got the radar over in High Top, Alabama, which is closer, but just runs into a lot of terrain, kind of gets things a little bit jumbled up a little bit. Atlanta radar sometimes gives us a good shot, but it's just so far away, south of Atlanta. So not really seeing a whole lot in terms of velocity to be concerned with. I think what's left of our notch here is really just, there's another sweep. Here it is. Kind of see that weak echo just north of the Dalton North Bypass. So north of town, heavy rain coming in. There's going to be a lot of wind with this rear flank downdraft is what this area is called, right over I-75 at the Dalton exit, so over the carpet outlets with that rear flank. And that's some very, very heavy rain, strong winds with that. Forward flank is up toward, well, the forward portion of the storm. So that's staying north of the bypass, and this is our area that we have that inflow coming in. Looks like it's getting cut off a little bit by some rain. So that's starting to possibly prevent more strengthening of the rotation. So that'll be good, but still going to hang on to that tornado warning for now. Central Whitfield, Central Murray, little portion of Gilmer County. And had an update on our severe thunderstorm warning, the yellow polygon. See a big portion of Catoosa County is now gone. Walker County all clear. So already cleared y'all just a little while ago, but the National Weather Service backing me up on that. So just basically light rain from Catoosa County and out toward Walker and Dade County. Really not much rain at all in Dade County to speak of at the moment. Some decent showers in southwest Walker County. Continues to build up. Nothing severe. And just looking for any more storm reports. As I mentioned a little while ago, only one storm report has officially come in to the National Weather Service today, and that was way earlier this afternoon, around noon today, in Jones County with some trees down. A lot of trees down in northern Alabama, the Huntsville area. They just keep coming in one after another. Here's a picture from Jackson County, Alabama. And some branches there in the foreground, but look out there toward the road. Those are some big trees. And I'll tell you what, if you're familiar with cutting down trees, this may not look like a big deal from a distance, but these are some big, big trees. That's a lot of weight there that has come down across the road. So again, that's in Jackson County, Alabama. Just a little sign of some things we may be seeing in Dade and Walker County. And from Stevenson, Alabama up to the state line, multiple trees down. So those are reports coming in from Alabama this afternoon with this cluster of storms that we're watching here. And there's kind of what's left of our notch, just staying north of Dalton, heading toward Highway 71. Take a look at the velocity. Yeah, not anything really frightening here. I'm not sure if this tornado warning is going to make it to 7:30 or not. For right now, that's the time that we have. So radar indicated potential rotation, possibility of some hail in there. But hopefully this will continue to cycle down. Seeing what we have. This looked like we could have had some hail, but I'm not so sure about that. Probably just some very, very heavy rain heading toward the Cisco community. They're in northern Murray County. And obviously strong winds. You can tell just by the shape of this storm. Just notice how this is bulging out to the east. We do have some strong winds coming in, and we have kind of these, what we call our rear inflow jet, these weak areas of reflectivity on the backside of the storm. So that's where that wind is just dropping in. It comes in from the back and sort of drops in down to the mid-levels and just pushes this storm along. And then as a result of that, those strong 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts possible. Looks like just over the state line up in Tennessee. Those storms moving toward North Carolina, but still well in Tennessee, Bradley County and Polk County, western Polk County, that wind's really picking up. And our storm over Dalton just continues to get just a little more ragged with every single cell, just not looking all that impressive. And I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Maybe some hail in here. Let's take a look at our hail detector. I think we're going to get a core. Yeah, that's a big one right there. Let's take a look at that. So 2-inch in diameter hail possible. Approaching I-75 near the north end bypass. That has been the hot area for sure in Whitfield County, right there where the bypass dumps into I-75. So I think our tornado threat just continues to cycle down, but we're still getting that very strong reflectivity coming out, an indication that we do have some hail possible just northwest of Dalton, moving over I-75 at the north end bypass, US 76 exit. And up in northeast Whitfield County, Cohutta starting to get a little quiet now, which is good. And the main line approaching the Whitfield-Murray County line. Strong winds, heavy rain coming in. Still have our tornado warning in effect for central Whitfield, central Murray, a small portion of northwest Gilmer County. But I don't know if that's going to hang on. But we'll see. We'll see if it recycles up again. And while we wait, we can go ahead and take a look at our severe thunderstorm warned storm. And switch over our radar site, maybe. Let's take a look here. A little better shot. I think we're getting another warning about to come out. Let's visit our warning here in Schley County. And moving into southern Taylor County. Storm moving in toward Macon County, not the city of Macon, but Macon County. Toward the Ideal community. This is going to be possibly some hail. Again, I mentioned the Rupert area with some hail. Concord Methodist Church is just to the south of this. So just above Concord Methodist and Rupert, well south of Butler. That's where we're looking at that cell capable of producing some decent hail. So that's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning. We got one now for southeast Georgia. Getting down into coastal Georgia. We'll take a look at Jacksonville radar on this one. Yeah, great storm structure on this. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 for northeastern Charlton County and southwestern Camden County. A little bit of Nassau County, Florida in there as well. So if you're in Kingsland, Folkston, Woodbine, Homeland, Kings Ferry, Colesburg, you are in the severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 p.m. Let's put this thing in motion. Look at that. Got a little outflow boundary also involved with that. My favorite weather feature. People ask me all the time, do you like hurricanes? Not really. Tornadoes? Nah. You know, I've never seen a tornado. I'm always here in the studio talking about them. But this right here, we call this an outflow boundary. And what this is basically a little mini cold front. So the air gets cooled very rapidly with this thunderstorm cell. We have very warm, humid air out ahead of this. Temperatures in the 90s, a lot of humidity. So that cooler air blasts into the warm, moist air, and you get a little line. And some people call it a gust front. So whenever you can kind of smell the rain coming, you feel that blast of cooler air, you know there's a storm nearby, that's what it looks like on radar. So putting it in motion, we can see that gust front forms and then just moves away from the cell. And sometimes these fronts can cause their own set of thunderstorms. This one looks pretty weak. Don't think that's going to happen as it moves in toward North Florida, but nonetheless, another sign that this is a severe thunderstorm, and we've got that cool, rain-cooled air blasting down there and a lot of wind associated with that. So that's right over Folkston right now. So severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 7:30 for northwestern Nassau County, Florida, southwestern Camden County, northeastern Charlton County. And that says just about as far southeast Georgia as you can get, and then just about as far northwest Georgia as you can get is where we're watching our tornado warned storm. And they're going to hang on to the, okay, so yeah, the severe thunderstorm warning expired at 7 o'clock. Tornado warning is still in effect. Let's go back and grab the radar here. Yeah, this is almost hard to even decipher what's left of the rotating portion of the storm. But Dalton, I think you're in the clear. Do have a cell coming in, but there's nothing rotating with this portion of the cell. That is going to be crossing I-75 heading into Dalton. The main portion we were looking at is really about 10 miles northeast of Dalton now. So this continues moving over toward the Eaton community. Should be staying just north of Chatsworth, but there's just not much left on this. So we'll see if the Weather Service holds on to this warning. And just a reminder, this is set to go until 7:30. I don't know. At this rate, don't think it's going to last that long. But nonetheless, heavy rain and very strong thunderstorm there. All right, so going to get a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's basically going to be for that cluster of storms that prompted our tornado warning. And here it is. We'll go full screen, and maybe we'll get a radar picture from somebody. We're trying. We're knocking on a lot of doors here. We'll try high top again, see what we can get. Old reliable high top. We got it. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Gilmer County, Murray County, southeastern Whitfield County, southeastern Walker County, northern Gordon County, northwestern Pickens County, northwestern Union County, and Fannin County until 7:45. Showing those storms from about Tenga to Tilton to near Naomi, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So if you're in Dalton, Calhoun, Chatsworth, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, Eaton, East Ellijay, Resaca, Morganton, Ranger, Crandall, Jones Mill, Jones Creek, Cohutta Wilderness Center area, Pisgah, Mineral Bluff, Cherry Log, Hemp, and Tails Creek, you're in this severe thunderstorm warning, including my friend Mr. Alan Tibbetts up in McKaysville. You're in the warning, so Get ready. Here's your line coming in. Strong wind, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Looks like our major threat here with this line. And I don't see any hail right now. That's subject to change. Really going to watch, especially this portion right on the state line of Georgia and Tennessee. Could see some hail pop up in here. But our tornado threat just continues to just not really work out anymore with that portion of the cell that prompted the warning a little bit earlier. So we may see the tornado warning drop off, but I don't want to call it too soon. Let's see if the Weather Service can give us a little hint as to what they're thinking about. While we do that, we just got some damage reports coming in from Whitfield County, and this looks very similar to the reports that were in from Alabama. Just numerous trees down, Tunnel Hill, Varnell Road at Highway 2, power lines down on the roadway, along with some trees down. 2 trees at Lake Cathy Road and Highway 2. Got a tree blocking 1 lane of Houston Valley Road at Lafayette Road. Old Ringgold Road at Dunnigan Road, a tree in the roadway, and several trees in the road at North Lakeshore. The actual quote is a bunch of trees down. So there you go. I'm not, a bunch of trees. It depends on where you're from, what you would count as a bunch, but we'll say probably more than 3. Catoosa County with some trees down as well. One in particular at Culbert Hollow Road in Rock Spring, and that tree over the roadway. Take a look at this picture coming in from Murray County, and just kind of looking through this to see if there's any sort of wall cloud or anything that I see, and I don't really see anything that looked like a tornado as this was coming through Murray County, or anything a precursor to a tornado like a wall cloud. But nonetheless, interesting to look at those threatening skies over Murray County. Pretty view from up there in the mountains, but very ominous clouds for sure. More reports coming in from Whitfield County with Utility Road and Old Utility Road, tree down in a roadway there in Whitfield. And Catoosa County, it's a pretty big branch down in Catoosa County. So that damage could have been a whole lot worse for sure, but nonetheless, just a sign of the strong winds that came through in the Ringgold area. That was about 3 miles north of Ringgold. All right, so those are our latest storm damage reports. I'm sure we will get more of them. If you have anything going on where you are, let me know about it. Drop that in the chat window. Try to get to the chat as often as I can. A lot of things going on here, a lot of things to look at, but certainly I want to take your reports if you have anything that you've seen thus far. But everything is getting quiet now in extreme northwest Georgia, Dade County, nothing happening, no rain. Most of Walker County is pretty clear until you get to Lafayette and east and southeast Walker County. Still some pretty decent rain coming down there. And our severe thunderstorm warned storm here, basically a line, it's multiple cells here, giving us this big warning polygon, that big yellow polygon. So that is going to be for portions of Gilmer, Murray, Whitfield, Walker, Gordon, Pickens, Union, and Fannin counties. And our main threat, 60-mile-an-hour wind, penny-sized hail possible. We haven't looked at the hail monitor in a minute or two. Let's take a look and see what it can find. I think we're going to see something up around 441. Let's see. It's thinking about it. Yeah, I think based on some of the other radar tools I'm looking at, just east of Cisco, So Cisco around 441. I think just somewhere in this area there, we're probably seeing the potential of that penny-size hail. That's going to be our best chance of hail. And I think that hail core is really going to stay hovering along the Georgia-Tennessee line as the storm continues moving toward the east. Get back to reflectivity. That's a fierce cluster of storms. Man, I'll tell you what, and especially just inside Tennessee. So this is Polk County. This county here, you can kind of see it etched out in black. This is Polk County, Tennessee. This is the most southeast county in Tennessee that you can get. And just look at this, the way this storm is bulging out toward the east. So very strong winds moving in. So there's McKaysville, Georgia, Copper Hill just on the other side of the bridge. And this is going to be moving in to central Polk County. And the potential of right now looking like it could be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but a little earlier there was the potential of 80-mile-an-hour wind gust with this cluster of storms as it was moving through Bradley County, Tennessee. So a lot going on there in southeast Tennessee, and here in northeast Georgia, we're part of that same cluster of cells, but we're in this bottom end. You can see it's kind of bows out near the state line and then comes back down to the southwest here in Georgia. And this has been the portion where we've seen some of the rotating stuff going on. There's another notch trying to form. Let's take a look at the velocity, see what that looks like. Yeah, it's there. Got to watch that. Something like that can get a couple more scans, could tighten up a little bit. And the next thing you know, we could have a tornado warning for Fannin County or Gilmer County. But we'll wait it out. It's still not that threatening yet. But this storm system has the history of producing a tornado. Over in Alabama, one actually made it to the ground. That was radar confirmed. So the tornado warning does remain in effect for Eaton and Chatsworth. Dalton, you're in the clear now. This has moved off to the east of you. I know it's still raining out there, but the tornado threat is over, so you can resume your normal operations. Some decent cells here in Chattooga County. Above Somerville and Tryon. These are kind of trying to get isolated. Look at that. That's some great storm structure here over Somerville. My goodness, look at that. So this is where you get this cell. We have our forward flank, rear flank. Here's our inflow notch. This thing is trying to get a little spin going. Let's see what it looks like on velocity. Yeah, it's kind of worth watching. I know the Weather Service is watching that one as well. So a lot of these storms are just kind of on the brink. They don't want to overwarn. You don't want to have a tornado warning every time something looks a little suspicious. But when you start to get more of those ingredients together, and this particular cell is getting close to looking like it's wanting to cause some trouble. So we'll keep a close eye on that right there in the middle of Chattooga County over Somerville and stretching up toward Tryon. Just know you have a strong thunderstorm there. We'll check out the rest of the state right quick. Have our two warnings. Let's go down to southeast Georgia, just over Folkston. No rotation on that one at all. But severe thunderstorm warning does remain in effect for extreme southeast Georgia, Charlton County. Heading over into Camden County does cover Kingsland and I-95. Not quite the St. Mary's. I think that's another outflow coming through, or that could be a sea breeze. Yeah, that could be a little function of some sea breeze. So there's that outflow boundary we talked about. That cool blast of air moving into Nassau County, Florida. And then a little sea breeze here showing some reflectivity. And you got to be careful with this. Sometimes you'll get a sea breeze coming in. You'll get a cell coming in at just the right angle. And those two wind factors can come together and cause a little spin. I have seen that happen in the Savannah area multiple times. So I'm not saying that's always going to be the case. But again, you get those two different wind forces going and they hit each other at just the right angle. Next thing you know, you have a cell like this that spins up. So just keep an eye on that if you're in Camden County or know anyone in Camden County, and we'll see how that cell interacts with the sea breeze. I'll keep the broadcast live until that cell gets over there because I am curious to see what happens. Let's check out our cell in central Georgia, just above Montezuma. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Macon County, western Peach County. and a small portion of southern Crawford County. And that cell bringing some heavy rainfall heading toward Highway 128. Moving toward Marshallville. Probably going to stay just to the south of Potterville. So Potterville is in this general direction. That's moving south of Potterville. There's Marshallville heading that way and cruising just to the north of Montezuma. I think you're going to pick up some heavy rain and some strong winds. But the strongest part of the storm, the severe portion, has its eyes on Marshallville. Going to be moving north of Montezuma. So this warning is in effect until 7:30. Another 16 minutes to go on that. Decent cell here in southern Upson County. Not severe, but nonetheless worth watching that one there, just east of US 19. And these cells just popping up all over the place. I mean, that's the nature. When you get temperatures in the 90s, dew points in the mid-70s, just a lot of humidity to work with and a lot of instability in the atmosphere. And pretty good thunderstorm over Edge Hill. Moving just to the south of Gibson, Glasscock County, heading over toward Jefferson County, northern Jefferson County. And a couple little cells in northeast Georgia. How about that? Over Madison County, got a cell here. All right, over Highway 98, Isla, heading over toward Danielsville. Not severe, but some decent cells and a multiple cell system. Moving over Barrow County, heading in toward western Clark County and southern Jackson County. So Houston, Brazelton, going to be picking up some heavy rain here in the next few minutes. And right over I-85 at 7:15. I don't know if rush hour ever ends in Atlanta, but at least it's not 5:15. But nonetheless, coming up I-85 there past the 985 split, we do have some heavy rain coming in there. All right, let's get back to our severe thunderstorm warning in North Georgia. We've got some brighter reflectivity coming in now. Maybe some hail associated with that. No, still doesn't look like hail necessarily, just east of Eaton. Beginning to move into northern Gilmer County. But that's just some very, very heavy rain. I mean, I can't rule out the penny-size hail, but not really seeing any indication that that's what it is. I think we're just picking up some very, very heavy rain and those very gusty winds right there in northern Gilmer County. Going to pick up the winds in Ellijay here shortly, but for the most part, the strongest part of that cell is going to move to the north. Tornado warning is canceled. All right, we'll take it. So, again, the structure of this just hasn't really held together enough to keep the tornado warning going or extend it out. That could change again. I don't see anything in velocity that looks terribly concerning right now. So let's see here. We'll drop in another radar site. But yeah, heavy rain moving into northern Gilmer County and into western Fannin County. See the western fifth of Fannin County with the rain. And there's our really strong wind portion of the storm right here along the Tennessee-Georgia state line, moving toward McKaysville, Copper Hill. Get up in the Polk County, heavy rain, strong winds. So no tornado warnings, just our 3 severe thunderstorm warnings we have around the state. So if you're just joining us, well, we're down to 2 now. Did the other one expire at 7? Yeah, I think the other one expired at 7:15 down in southeast Georgia. So again, we're going to watch this cell moving from Folkston, moving into Camden County, see what happens as it approaches the coastline, any interaction with the sea breeze. And we're talking about this little cell near Monticello, Florida. That's just kind of lingering along. It must be moving more toward the east. Let's see. Yeah, so it kind of redeveloped here just in southern Thomas County, kind of developed and dropped down toward Monticello, Florida. Kind of interesting pattern there. We normally see those cells move up into the state of Georgia, but this just kind of developed and then dropped south, and now it's kind of trying to figure out what it wants to do with its life over US 10. A lot of us reach that point in life where we're driving on US 10, and what do you do? Keep going? Stop at a hotel, You never know. Thunderstorms, they have a mind of their own. So North Georgia, again, we have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11 o'clock. And basically covers this area where we have our severe weather. Not a whole lot going to be going on in extreme northwest Georgia between now and then. Could see a few more showers rolling in from Alabama, but it's this cluster of cells. Been monitoring this since about 5 o'clock this morning. This is what has prompted our severe thunderstorm watch. So North Georgia, White County is in there. If I remember correctly, Towns County is in there. Let me look in there again and make sure that's right. Yes. So that's as far east as it goes to White County and Towns County. So Rabun County, Habersham, Stevens, you're not in the severe thunderstorm watch. The expectation is these cells are going to continue to lose energy over the next couple of hours and may be strong. We may see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but our main risk remains in this area in North Georgia and basically the mountainous portion. So from Cleveland up to Helen and then up into Towns County, Union County, Fannin County, we have that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. And, so that's what we're doing. We're watching the severe thunderstorms. And we've been watching some of these storms try to spin up, get a little spin going. As far as the timing of this line, 7:20 right now, so we're looking at Ellijay at around 7:32, East Ellijay 7:34, Blue Ridge 7:35, Morganton 7:38, and Blairsville just about 8 o'clock tonight. Mineral Bluff, didn't mean to leave you out, 7:36. I don't really see any signs of hail. I mean, with our cluster of storms, we do have the potential of that penny-sized hail. Just kind of looking at the southern end of this line for any other signs of rotation or any sort of inflow notches, anything like that. We're watching that cell near Summerville and still showing some bright reds here into the darker reds, so some broad rotation. All these cells are rotating a little bit. It's just when that rotation, that's starting to brighten up a little bit more, isn't it? And decent structure. Looks like the cell itself is starting to weaken a great deal, raining itself out, but still showing that notch. So this storm would love to get a spin going, but it's just not really in the cards at the moment. All right, another severe thunderstorm warning. So this is going to be back down to our central Georgia storms, or middle Georgia. And this is just kind of playing it safe down the line, assuming that our storms from Montezuma to Marshallville will hold together. Probably will. Will continue to move toward the northeast. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for portions of Macon County, Peach County, and central Houston County. So this does cover Perry and Warner Robins in Houston County, and Byron is in there, Fort Valley. You are in the warning polygon, Robins Air Force Base, obviously. Bon Air, Moss Oak, Powerville, Lakewood, Miami Valley, Kathleen, Centerville, Meadowdale, Sandbed, you are in the severe thunderstorm warning. And this is going to go until 8 p.m. Let's take another look here. Nah, no spin at all. All right, I like that. I mean, I don't see anything that's even trying to spin on that cell there near Montezuma. But the plan here is that this cluster of storms, basically rooted here just north of Montezuma, continue moving toward the northeast, and the portion near Montezuma will be near Perry. This northern forward flank heading toward Marshallville will probably be up toward Warner Robins. And I would time it out, but the markers are not where they should be, so I won't give you a very accurate time. We can guess a little bit. Probably going to be in Warner Robins. I know it says 7:49. Probably going to be a little closer to 7:55. So there you go. Severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Macon, Peach, and Houston County until 8 p.m. We're watching this little cell in southern Upson County. Still pretty decent thunderstorm here. Not great structure, but some heavy rain coming out of that, heading toward Culloden. And if you were with us on Thursday, we're tracking the severe thunderstorms in northern Crawford County. Sorry, 159 counties in Georgia. Got to keep them straight sometimes. But we were watching the cells move through northern Crawford County, and then Monroe County, and the potential of a tornado on that. The National Weather Service, they're still out working on the assessments on that. With the Friday holiday, with the weekend, they had to do a lot of coordinating with some of the emergency management offices. So they were saying that it's going to take a little bit longer to get those damage assessments out. But we should be seeing that in the next day or so. We'll get back up to northwest Georgia. And look at this little cell coming in from Alabama, right over Cedar Bluff, Alabama. Strong storm, decent structure, a little bitty notch trying to form. So let's just keep an eye out in Floyd County and Chattooga County. So this will continue to head on in toward across the state line here over the next 10-15 minutes. Looks like it's going to be right on the Floyd-Chattooga County line. There's the line. So out in Cave Spring and Coosa, that storm moving your way, probably going to be near Rome, at least the Berry College side of Rome. Here's our severe thunderstorm warned storm in Gilmer County. And this is just completely staying out of the way of Ellijay. I like that. So Ellijay, East Ellijay, the rain is going to come. We're going to get a little breeze there, but our severe portion of the storm looks like it's going to stay up to the north of Ellijay. And down in Macon County, that particular cell we're watching, split back over here, the Weather Service saying they see that weakening just a bit, but still going to keep that severe thunderstorm warning in place. Still the potential of that 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. But yeah, it looks like that is fading quite a bit. Let's put this in motion. Well, maybe it cycled back again. Look at this. So it goes from some red in there, and then it just, let's go back a couple more frames, maybe. Yeah, it kind of tried to fade out, but then it sort of cycled back up again. So yeah, it's going to hang on to that severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Houston, Peach County, and the extreme northeast corner of Macon County. This storm should stay to the south of Macon itself. Looks like these two cells are kind of split Macon. This one will probably move more toward Bolingbroke, and then our cluster of thunderstorms here will move more toward Warner Robins, and this will likely be the Macon portion. You know, this could fill in. Keep that in mind. Nothing's for sure, but if Macon's lucky, we'll keep these two cells basically moving this way. It may split Macon. Never know. You just never know. Let's see, let's check in with our cells in the Athens area again. That's a big one, right over the northern portion of Madison County now, with looks like two little cells here coming close together. So from Isla to Danielsville, and then out to the Elbert County line, right up to the Franklin County line. So some strong winds in Royston and Franklin Springs, but doesn't look like it's really raining there much. But boy, you get down Wildcat Bridge Road and down Highway 29, that's a very heavy rain coming down there in northeast Madison County, beginning to move in towards Southern Hart, western Elbert County. So this is going to start to move out of the Atlanta warning area, move into the Greenville-Spartanburg area. We'll see what they say about it. Sometimes they're a little bit more sensitive about these storms, so we may see a warning pop up for this cell. We'll see. If it continues to ramp up, we'll just keep an eye on this in Southern Hart, western Elbert County. Folks in Greenville just may have a little different set of standards on those storms. We're watching our cell here moving in toward Floyd County and Chattooga County. Great storm structure on this one. So getting right over Cedar Bluff, and got a little bit of a notch trying to form, but overall just a really compact cell. and they can really cause a lot of trouble. So if you're just joining us, we have our technically three severe thunderstorm warnings, but associated with two different storm cells. So in North Georgia, our cell, the strongest portion, looks like it is starting to really shrink up, cycle down a great deal, is in northern Gilmer County, beginning to move toward Cherry Log. There's Ellijay, Cherry Log, and here is our cell that is moving that way, starting to move into the central portion of Fannin County. That main line is over McKaysville right now, so just some light rain falling in that area now. Rain beginning to pick up in Blue Ridge in just the next couple of minutes, and we'll continue tracking toward eastern Fannin County, heading over toward Union County, Towns County. And we have our severe thunderstorm warned cell in Middle Georgia. And this one, yeah, now another, just showing another cycle here. It looks like it's losing a little strength once again. But nonetheless, severe thunderstorm warning for Byron, Perry, and Warner Robins. So the big portion of the population of Houston County under the severe thunderstorm warning. And all of Peach County. Just looking around Montezuma here to see, yeah, still no signs of any rotation. But yeah, this cell's starting to either split or just kind of get that inflow cut off altogether. You can see there's just not a whole lot that's holding this storm together. It's still very strong, but we may see this weaken, hopefully, as it heads toward Houston County. We'll watch it. Down in Calhoun County, Georgia, northeast Calhoun County. Got a decent cell here, not severe, but just above Morgan. And that's beginning to move, could be moving in toward the extreme northwest corner of Dougherty County and over into Terrell County. Southern Terrell could see some heavy rain here soon. Okay, well, let's clear this off, and I'll show you where our severe thunderstorm watch is. I've been talking about it. I just want to show you what we have. And really, a lot of these counties out to the west, this is a little hard to see. Let me see if I can tilt this or do something. There we go. They want to be fancy with all these colors and everything. So here's our severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. So most of the northwest corner of the state, things are going to start to get quiet once this squall line moves through. But we do have Lumpkin County in there, as well as White County, Towns County, Union County, Fannin County. You're still in until 11 o'clock tonight. Nothing for Rabun or Habersham or Stevens. We'll see if that gets extended. I doubt it, but we'll see. We'll just see if these storms hold on. But that's our severe thunderstorm watch for northeast Georgia, or correction, north central northwest Georgia. And we'll keep our broadcast going. I said we were going to watch this storm down in southeast Georgia. Just see what it does as it crosses I-95. This had a severe thunderstorm warning tag to it. There's that nice outflow boundary continuing to push into Florida. That's that cold, or cooler, not cold, but cooler blast of air that moves through. And that is working off of that storm. So here's our cell that was severe. Now it's just a significant thunderstorm moving into Woodbine, heading toward I-95. Got a couple of little pop-up thunderstorms off the coastline here. We know got a little sea breeze starting to come in at this hour. Some cells starting to come together in Glenn County as well, just on the other side of I-95, beginning to head in toward Brunswick. Got some thunderstorms, it looks like, around St. Simon starting to pick up. Nothing severe there in coastal Georgia. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, these cells are always interesting as they move toward the coastline, and you get that sea breeze that can interact with it. Sometimes interesting things can happen, so we'll just maybe we'll keep it boring and we won't have anything interesting happen. I won't complain about that a bit. Got the possibility of some hail just to the east of Oglethorpe. Yeah, this let's see, is this where we're looking at? Yeah, I think, well, so just above Montezuma, it looks like maybe some hail picking up in that part of the cell. So that's going to be right around Royal Road and Devon Rumpf Road. That's a good name right there, too. Those were two families that were, they were at odds with each other. No, I don't know. I'm just making up a story. I bet one family owned one side of the road and the other had the other one, and they said, we'll just hyphenate the road name and we'll call it a day. And that was the story about that road. But we could be seeing some hail there in that area. Again, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for northeastern Macon County, Peach County, and central Houston County until 8 p.m. Although this cluster of storms just really trying to cycle itself down before it moves toward Houston County, moving toward I-75. And I know the folks in Perry and Warner Robins would appreciate that very much. This cluster of thunderstorms in the Athens area looking a little interesting. So all clear in Isla now. It's mainly eastern Madison County. Got those storms, the storm cell there dropping some rain now in Bowman, in northwest Elbert County. So between Bowman and Royston. Got that rain coming down pretty good. Little cell trying to get isolated on its own there in southern Madison County. That's moving along Highway 72, heading toward Comer, Carlton. And this line of cells basically just stretching down Highway 29. So from Athens and then up 29 through Arcade and Jefferson and then across I-85. Got the two Waffle Houses here on both sides of the interstate. And so both Waffle Houses, it's raining there in Jackson County. On both sides of I-85 there at 129. And it looks like it stops right here at the Jackson County line. So at the Jackson-Hall County line, really no rain going on inside Hall County anymore. Yeah, that's just kind of cruising right up the county line. Look at that. So right when you cross over the county line, that rain picks up and just gets, looks like blinding rain in some spots there along 129. Two good reasons to watch your speed through Arcade on 129. They take safe driving very seriously in Arcade, and when it's raining like that, you really want to make sure you drive carefully and not hydroplane. All right, so our severe thunderstorm storms, really a cluster of storms here. Let's just see what we have going on, see if we have any more mischief going on in terms of velocity, any rotation. Don't see anything really screaming at us, but just these individual cells cutting right through the middle of Fannin County, right over Blue Ridge. Still some decent rain in northern Gilmer County, and then out to the southwest here in part of Whitfield County, heading toward Murray County, still some heavy rain. This kind of has picked up in the last few scans as well, and possibly some gusty winds out ahead of this, moving just to the north of Calhoun along I-75. But that rain will continue to move in toward Calhoun itself. We're just kind of looking in the non-severe portion of the storm. So that's going to continue pushing in, and that does look like some gusty wind. So we could be seeing some 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts possibly there on that leading edge. So moving toward Calhoun, I-75, the Buc-ee's just south of Calhoun there on I-75. So if you're one of 100 people out there getting gas, you may want to go inside for a minute and peruse around. And still impressive storm structure. That cell around Cedar Bluff, Alabama, been talking about it at great detail. So that is beginning to move into northwestern Floyd County, so should be above Coosa, heading toward Cave Spring. And still very impressive structure on this one. We got to continue to keep an eye on it. A little notch trying to hang on there for dear life. This is the way the scan has looked for the last, 20 or 30 minutes. So not severe yet, but that is going to bring some very heavy rain coming into the western portion of Floyd County. Maybe very close to Rome. I think certainly Berry College will be picking up some heavy rain next 20, 25 minutes. And maybe Mount Alto and Rome, but South Rome, Lindale may dodge that one just a little, just barely. All right, we'll keep it live here for just a couple more minutes. Heather Dawn's checking in. She's laughing and having a good time. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. We have no tornado warning, so we can tell a couple of jokes here and there and talk about speed traps and things like that. When there's a tornado warning on the board, there's no talking about Buc-ee's or speed traps or Carol. There's a lady named Carol that shows up sometimes, and she has a big time. But we keep it very serious when there are tornado warnings, not to scare anybody, but we just want to make sure that we get the point across, make sure you know what's going on. But we just have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're the standard severe thunderstorm warnings. Up in Tennessee, they had the considerable severe thunderstorm warning and destructive severe thunderstorm warning because the winds were just so incredibly powerful moving through Bradley and Polk County, Tennessee. But luckily, we haven't dealt with that here in Georgia, and hopefully we'll keep it that way. And no more, I was just getting ready to say no more storm reports. I just got one in 1 second ago. Fairview Drive and Murray Hill Drive in Whitfield County. Got a tree down in the roadway there. As I mentioned, numerous other locations around Whitfield County, College Drive and Park Canyon tree down in the road there, Park Canyon, College Drive, West Lakeshore Drive and DeSoto Drive, Sagamore Drive, with a tree in the road, but it looks like someone showed up with a chainsaw. So there you go. Appreciate that. And another chainsaw hero showing up at Lake Catherine in Whitfield County. Very good, very good. And not a lot of pictures coming in. Most of our pictures coming in from Alabama. So this is across the state line in Jackson County, Alabama. Big old tree here down. And looks like that was uprooted. So this isn't a sign of tornadic damage where normally you would see the tree twisted or snapped off. You can see the roots here on the tree, and it missed the house by a long shot, so that's great news. But big tree just across the state line in Jackson County, Alabama. And here's another one from the Jackson County, Alabama EMA. So those kind of look like branches down. Maybe a tree snapped on that one. Yeah, I kind of see at the top of that one. This will be interesting. You can kind of look very closely there and you see that that tree may have snapped off at the top. So that could have been straight line winds. There was the potential of 70-mile-an-hour straight line winds as that storm went through that part of Alabama. So we'll continue to watch out for storm reports here in Georgia and pass them along to you. Another severe thunderstorm warning. So they're just going to expand this one out in North Georgia. So let's talk about it. So this is part of this big line right here, and we have already have the big warning that's in place. So they've just expanded this out a little bit more. So here are the details. Severe thunderstorm warning for Towns County, northwestern Lumpkin County, Gilmer County, southeastern Murray County, northwestern Dawson County, northeastern Gordon County, northern Pickens County, Union County, and eastern Fannin County. This goes until 8:30. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, penny-size hail possible with this thunderstorm. And so this covers a lot. Jasper, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, Hiawassee, Blairsville, Young Harris, East Ellijay, Morganton, Talking Rock, Suchess, Amicalola Falls, State Park, Gumlog, Jones Creek, Titus, Pisgah, Cherry Log, Stover Creek Shelter, Hinton, and Hemp. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. Time now is 7:44, and it looks like the strongest reflectivity we have is approaching Highway 411 between Ramhurst and Oakman, just to the north. Oakman is about right here. Ramhurst is just above this, so very, very bright reflectivity coming in over US 411. And let's just see if we have any sign of hail on that. This will take a second to load up. Doesn't look like it. Very, very surprising. So very heavy rain, and really surprised that this isn't going to be one of our penny-sized hail areas, but the radar says it doesn't really look like it. But that is crossing 411, again, between Ramhurst and Oakman, heading into southwest Gilmer County, moving out of Murray County right now. So 411 goes through Murray. Here's the county line. So Gilmer County is on this side. So that is moving into that southwest corner of Gilmer. And I think this is probably going to head right into Ellijay if this holds together. And that brightened up a little bit more. So really surprised I don't have a hail marker on that. Picking up some hail on our two storms over in northeast Georgia. Possibly just inside Jackson County. Let's see if this will show up. Yeah, barely there. Can barely see it. So moving towards South Jackson Elementary School, we got the possibility of a little hail core. And then this one showing up a little bit better between Bowman and Royston on Highway 17. So just inside Hart County. There it is, another shot. So now just above Bowman. So this looks like it's going to stay to the south of US 29 and now east of 17 in southern Hart County, just above Elbert County with the possibility of hail. That could be some penny-sized hail there. I think that's about it as far as our hail cores are concerned. Some good news in middle Georgia. That storm moving toward Houston County. The severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. So yeah, that has cycled down very, very quickly. Still looking at a pretty good cell here above Byronville, east of Montezuma, but beginning to move into southern Houston County and stretching on up toward Warner Robins and central Houston. We're still showing some decent precipitation there, but not severe, long way from it. So that has cycled down a great deal. That's great. Kind of watching this cell as it moved out of Washington County. Now in central Jefferson County from Louisville and stretching up just to the east of 221 US 1. Heading toward Vidette. A little cell here in western Richmond County as well. Toward Hephzibah. That's going to be, let's put this in motion. See, yeah, it's moving very close to Augusta. Heading over toward Bobby Jones. Maybe just the south side of Augusta on that. Not severe, but we'll be producing some heavy rainfall. And, you know, again, not a whole lot with our one severe thunderstorm warned line of storms here in North Georgia. Not a lot really showing up that looks very ominous. Not much in terms of rotation is concerned. Our strongest reflectivity remains heading over toward Gilmer County out of Murray County. But this storm has had a history of producing some tornadoes, strong straight line winds, and this has just been a big problem system all the way from early this morning as it was going through Arkansas into northern Mississippi, northern Alabama. Confirmed tornado near Huntsville, Alabama with this cluster of cells. But the models have been saying all day long, probably going to weaken fairly quickly after it reaches Georgia. Atmosphere is just not as favorable for it, and also we're starting to get much later in the day, so that solar heating is no longer a factor here at 7:48 in the evening. So as this continues to move toward northeast Georgia, I think we're going to continue to see it weaken somewhat. But we're going to hang here for just a little bit longer and keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on these other cells. Make sure nothing happens that we're not that catches us off guard. Also looking in for any other storm reports. A ton of reports coming in now from Whitfield County. So we'll kind of zoom in and throw this in motion right now. And things are, as you can see, clearing out in Whitfield County. But I'll just run down some of these roads here. Tunnel Hill, Varnell Road, at Appaloosa Drive, a tree down on power lines and started a fire in the tree. How about that? Utility Road, Old Utility Road, a tree in the roadway. We've got some lines, power lines on the road at Tunnel Hill, at Highway 2. And Lake Cathy Road at Highway 2, already mentioned that one, 2 trees across the roadway. We got Old Ringgold Road at Dunnigan, tree in the roadway. And tree on power lines at Richardson Drive at Walnut Avenue. And Fairview Drive at Murray Hill Road, a tree in a roadway. All this in Whitfield County. So a lot of this in the Dalton area. And let me see what our power outage situation is like. Got another warning about to come out, I think. I was just checking in with our power. Wow, surprisingly, not a whole lot of power outages in the Dalton area. 90 customers north of Dalton, up in the Varnell area. And then we got some reported in up in Catoosa County. About 534 customers out there. So yeah, not as many as I thought. Across the state, 121 active power outages right now, about 3,400 customers affected. So that's amazing. I mean, reading all these reports of trees down on power lines in the Dalton area, that's amazing that we don't have any more than about 3,400 customers without power right now. Now, that obviously can change. We'll get those reports, will keep coming in, but I was expecting that number to be a lot greater in Whitfield County. And throw this back in motion again just to show you the big picture. And I had a text that was not from the Weather Service, so run over here and see what's going on. All right, not weather related, just random people just, you know, saying hi and wishing me a happy Monday. I appreciate that. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that. These 2 little cells, or 2 clusters of cells in northeast Georgia, just continue to hang on, not severe, but this continues to move into northern Jackson County, heading toward Commerce. Banks Crossing will be sort of on this northern edge. The cell, yeah, just kind of cruising just south of I-85. And heavy rain all the way down toward the Jackson County Ag Center, and then moving into southwest Madison County. Nice, going to be moving in toward Isla. Rain moving out of Athens-Clarke County, but it's all confined up here in Madison County. Then the eastern portion of Madison County, still with those cells there. In the western Elbert County, moving through Bowman now. They had some heavy rain and some strong winds and a decent cell just south of Hartwell. So this is going to continue tracking toward South Carolina, but Elberton going to be picking up that heavy rain here in just a little bit. But this little cluster here never got a severe thunderstorm warning attached to it, but it was pretty doggone close. I think we had some heavy rain and some gusty winds associated with that as it moved through Jackson County and Barrow County. So just hang on when that one moves through. It'll move through fairly quickly. And this line is just really falling apart. Let me see if we can get another radar shot of this. Okay, well, the high top radar is still showing some strong reflectivity just south of US 76, just inside Gilmer County, this western edge of Gilmer County. There's 76. So still some decent reflectivity coming off of that. And as I mentioned, that is moving right toward Ellijay. So give it a few more minutes and it will be in Ellijay. And it's considered severe, all these little cells associated with this line. Now moving into eastern Fannin County, heading toward Union County. But this severe thunderstorm warning covering portions of Gilmer, Fannin, Union, Towns, Lumpkin, Dawson, northern Pickens County, and even northeast Gordon County in on the action here in the southern end of the line. And just checking for any more storm reports. Nothing else coming in here in Georgia. We'll just take a look at Alabama again because they've been putting pictures out like crazy in Alabama. I think I had one here earlier of a tree down. See, this is Newmarket, Alabama. So this is over near Huntsville. And this was probably part of that same cluster here that we're watching in North Georgia now. And that's a big portion of a tree. Those branches just came down there, Newmarket, Alabama, near Huntsville. They share the pictures in Alabama. We're not as big on pictures here in Georgia. We'll talk about the storms, but don't get a whole lot of pictures posted, and not as many. We did get this one in from Catoosa County a little bit earlier. And so that was it's a large branch down. Nothing major there, but just worth passing along. I think they said that was a 2-inch diameter branch that broke near Ringgold. All right. So we'll just keep it here until about 8 o'clock. We have 5 minutes to go. And we'll just take a look at what else is going on around the state. We had some thunderstorms in coastal Georgia, and they are starting to mellow out a great deal. Now completely across I-95, so above St. Mary's, up to the Glenn County line. Some showers north of Brunswick from Fletsey on up to 95 toward the McIntosh County line, right to Darien. And some heavy rain coming down over St. Simons Island right now. A few showers just moving across Jekyll. But yeah, really raining big time on St. Simons. I don't know anybody personally at St. Simons this weekend. They all go at the same time for some reason. Like everybody I know, they're at St. Simons at the exact same time, and no one ever invites me along. I mean, I don't know what that's about. But then they all come back, and but I don't know. There's a Facebook page or something that all my friends plan on their trip together, and they leave me out, and then they go, and then they tell me when they get back. So anyway, some friends, right? Do have a coastal. It's going to be a special marine advisory. This is going to be for Camden County. So as a result of those thunderstorms rolling out to sea there, that special marine warning goes until 8:30. And with those wind gusts of 34 knots and greater, so that will impact some small craft out there off the Georgia coastline in Camden County. Charles checking in from Blue Ridge, and the lights flickering and trees dancing around out there. Yeah, you got that line. It is just right over you, it looks like. Looks like mainly to the east of Blue Ridge now, but still, that's probably impacting some of those high tension power lines, bringing that power up to you. And I'm just so surprised at the power outages. Let me get an update here. Last check was 3,400. We're still right there, 3,396. So right about 3,400 total customers without power. That's Georgia Power. I know we have quite a few EMCs up there. Let me check in with the EMCs. Georgia Power does cover Dalton, don't they? Let me know if you're in Dalton. I know there's one in the Dalton area up there, but I think Georgia Power has the city of Dalton itself, and we've had a lot of power lines there. So, all right, so the EMC is reporting a few more, about 6,600 without power. So, yeah, you put the EMCs together with Georgia Power, and you're getting close to 10,000 customers without power. That's a decent number, and a lot of those power outages are in South Georgia. Got about 2,300 without power in the EMCs in South Georgia. North Georgia about a little over 1,500. So if you're without power right now, you're one of about 10,000 customers. And I know the crews are out there working hard to get that restored for you, and hopefully they'll do that fairly quickly. So one severe thunderstorm warning all across the state of Georgia, and it's up in the North Georgia mountains, and it's in the same area where we have our severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. But really, I mean, this is just losing so much strength. Let's take a look at high top radar. I think it gives a little better view where it is now. There's a new shot. Yeah, it's starting to get some cells out ahead of the line. So this is starting to lose a lot of its intensity, but still considered severe. And the warning goes until 8:30. So once again, this is for really the central portion of Gilmer County. It's moving through Ellijay right now, through Union County, right over Blairsville, eastern Fannin County, most of Towns County, you're in there, northern Lumpkin County, not including Dahlonega, northern Dawson County, not including Dawsonville, and most of Pickens County under that severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30. And we just continue to see it lose more and more of its definition. So I'll tell you what we're going to do since we're at an even time. It's 8 o'clock, top of the hour. Going to go ahead and end our broadcast for right now. If we get any of these storms to spin up or it shows any more intensity, as I say that, look at all this red now. Let's just take another look at this one. Yeah, no rotation on that. But yeah, this has been the strongest part of the storm right here on the Pickens-Gilmer County line. This kind of southern end as the storm's starting to curl in toward the west. This is where we've had our heaviest rain. So this is considered severe, but very, very heavy rain. Not showing any hail necessarily embedded in this core, but right along the Gilmer-Pickens County line, then up in the southern Gilmer County, that heavy rain going to be coming through. So we'll go ahead and end the broadcast right now. Like I said, if anything gets worse, if it spins up any more or builds up, I will break in and we'll go live again right here from the Georgia WeatherNet 24-hour Storm Center. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.